Hello again, and welcome back to Radio Entrepreneurs. My name again is Jeffrey Davis. I'm the host of Radio Entrepreneurs. And this is, again, the new format since the new reality of the economy, Zooming. And I think this is going to be our permanent show. Why do I say that? Because our viewership is dramatically up. People want to know what people are doing to stay in business, compete in business, and deal with this new reality. Since more people are working than not working, and we want to keep this economy strong and stronger as we continue to go. That is our combined competitive advantage. Our next guest, someone I have a great amount of respect for, Scott Levy, partner and New England practice leader of DLA. Welcome, Scott.
Thank you for having me, and nice to see you.
Nice to see you too. Haven't seen you in a while. It's you've been locked up, I'm sure, in your home, except for your drive-bys. So
I do drive about 45 minutes every night just to get out of the house.
With the window open like a dog?
No, that I don't do. But every night we try to figure out a different place to go to.
That's great. You know, Scott, probably one of the most common things I hear about now is really how to manage their finances and deal with the new economy, filing for the PPP, how to restructure and really sort of work this to get to the other side. I assume you're going crazy, and you have a little bit of some stories for us.
Absolutely. This is a time, obviously, where, first of all, even us as a company, we're seeing it because obviously we're impacted as well. So just because we're an accounting consulting firm doesn't mean we're not impacted by this same thing. So we're going through the same thing, and obviously we see our clients going through the same thing. So yes, we've been doing various recommendations to our clients and try to help them through these difficult times.
Can you give us an example of some of the most common things you're coming across that entrepreneurs need to hear?
So some of the biggest things that we're seeing that are happening at our clients are, one is a cash flow crunch right now. So they're not getting in the money from their customers. And then customers are also now calling for credits. So they're saying, okay, yes, you did bill me, but here are some of the issues, not issues that you did, but in these times, I can't pay you this whole thing. So I want credits. So that's one thing. The other thing is just the efficiency of having to deal with working remotely with people and how effective that is. And some companies are more prepared for doing it than others. So there are companies that are really struggling, particularly in the finance organization, where they weren't set up to truly all work remotely. So from those perspectives, and then they're just concerned about future cash flow. So from that perspective, they're worried about, is their revenue going to come in? And even if they have clients, are those clients going to pay? So those are the biggest concerns that people are concerned with right now, in my opinion.
So I assume in terms of credits, and the first and the third one sort of go together, you're having to help clients create new cash flow models for the business?
Yeah, so that's actually the number one thing that we're talking about from clients is looking at their cash flow, what I'll call their monthly burn rate, and what can they do. And there's really two types of costs. There's fixed costs and there's variable costs. And I would say the fixed costs are like your rent, things that you really can't control. That being said, you can control that to some degree because there's a lot of people who are going back to their landlords right now and saying, if you want me to stay here right now, I need a concession. And it's not even just a small amount. It's been such a big, so much activity in that the accounting standards has even come out with a standard on that because of COVID.
Really? So
Yeah,
what, they're giving you a template for how to negotiate this?
well, not a template, but how should the lessor account for the concessions they're going to give during COVID?
Interesting. Have you had to, I know with my clients, coaching them sometimes to take, let's say, a more assertive action with clients or vendors. They're nervous. They don't want to get on the phones or call them. Have you had to coach them to sort of, on how to do this and how to handle it so you just don't tell them what to do?
Yeah, we have, and we tell them to be very honest. So, for example, if you're a restaurant right now and you're not open and you owe money on your lease, it's very hard for you to pay at this point. So having that honest conversation with the landlord, and I have many clients who are lessors actually, and they're expecting this to some degree. They might not first admit to it, but they are expecting it. So
it's a trickle down. And what do you do if you're a lessor and you have, a bunch of little malls and then you're sort of looking at 40% revenue yourself. How, it seems like it's sort of a trickle down punishment.
It absolutely is. But when you're looking at the cash flow, that you have to look at, the first thing to really look at is your variable cost. So what can you cut out that immediately will get you the benefit without you having to worry? And some of those variable costs, unfortunately, might include looking at personnel. Who are the essential, who are not essential? And I'm not saying you lay people off. Maybe you have to put them on furlough until the times change. But looking at the burden that what are all the different things that you're subscribing to? What are the different activities you're doing? What are the clubs you're a part of? All these different things that you're looking at that you can say, do I really need these as part of my cash burn? We are generally recommending that people reduce their costs by up to 25, 30% in general.
Well, that's interesting. And, what I'm wondering is, in the service that you do, a lot of times you're hired by the client in addition to their accounting firm, or by the accounting firm in addition. Have you found that sometimes this is an easier conversation for you to have because the accountant has had a long-term personal relationship with the client, and they're a little bit, it allows you to be a little bit more independent than they are and help them to make those tough choices?
Oh, absolutely. The CPA firm that's, let's say they're getting an audit done or something like that, a financial statement audit done. There's a difference of services between what they do, and they do outstanding jobs. I want to commend them all in doing that. But they're more focused on getting the audit done. They're not there really to help the company survive. Now, they might help give one or two recommendations, but overall, their whole thing is get that financial statement audit done. So that people are trained for a different aspect than what is really needed in these times. These times is really cash flow is king, and the financial statement audit is second. So unless you get a truly good business partner, they're not going to give you that advice to really help you and sit down and deal with that stuff.
Because they're really
There are
auditors.
some that do that, but it's very hard to find those.
Right. No, I understand that, because it's a different skill set.
Yes.
It's more of a strategic financial skill than an auditing skill.
Yeah. And when we say to really look at the variable costs, you can't just look at a category and just say like general and administrative expenses, let's cut it by 25%. You're going to have to get granular. And you're going to have to do reforecasting. So you're going to probably want to create 3 different types of models of forecasts: a best case, an expected case, and a worst case. And you really want to work to see, can you get down your cost to that worst case? And that worst case should be a realistic worst case.
Now, it's funny that you said that, because I'm a big fan of that 3-headed model. But I know and this is not a shot at my partner, because I'm great at delegating. If I went to my partner today and said, I want a best case, worst case, 3 case, he'd go, so when do you expect me to do that? I'm working with clients right now. And I would say, well, okay, then you better get someone to help you. And that's really where you're at, correct?
Exactly. People don't have the time to do this. They're trying to survive, and that's where we could come in and really help them. Right now, companies are just trying to survive. And, if you start talking to them about other accounting issues, like talk to them about technical accounting issues, I think they would look at you and say, well, why are you here? Like, do you not understand what's going on? But if you go there and start talking to them about, let's see how we can save you money. Let's go through an analysis and see how we can cut your cost by 30%. Let's redo your budgets. Let's look at your forecast and see. And you might not even know that number that you have to cut until you do those forecasts of revenue to see what's your best, your expected, and your worst case. Because if you don't do that, you don't know, even if you cut 25% of expenses, it might not be enough. You really have to look at it.
For me, when I was working for clients, let's say pre-virus, we would work on change programs, but the client gets set the timetable for change because their client was more in charge. And in this economy, it shifted that the market dictates the timetable. And so I'm finding that my pace of work is doubled or tripled because I have to work that much faster than I did just a couple of months ago. Are you finding it the same way?
Oh yeah. I mean, if we don't act quickly with clients, they might not be here very in a short period of time. So they don't have time, they can't say, we'll get to this reforecasting in 3 months. They might not be here in 3 months if they wait for the reforecasting. Right. So they need to look at it now, and they need to really figure that out. Now, forecasting is just one of the things that needs to be done. There are other things that should be done as well.
Well, now you're not I know you're based in Boston, but you're not a Boston-based firm. So you have multiple locations and working in various regions. Can you tell us, what coverage you really do?
We pretty much do throughout the Northeast. Now that being said, we have people through the Northeast. That being said, our CFO and controller services, a lot of it could be done remotely. So we have companies outside of the Northeast that we just really handle completely remotely. The time of having people full time in there doing a lot of this work has changed because of the technology that's out there, that you can now do stuff remotely and be just as effective.
Right. I think that's good for your house because now your boss is always about 5 feet away, right?
Exactly.
So if somebody was looking for you at DLA, how would they find you or connect with you? And also that includes, you are located physically, I guess still, the majority of your people are in New England and in New York, correct?
Correct, yes. So our website is DLALLC.com. And the best way to reach me is my cell phone, which is 339-225-1015. That's
Great.
probably the best way to reach me in these times.
And now that we're starting to try to create this new model for the new normal, and things sort of play its way out, will you be coming back? Will you come back and talk to us about how you see things working and not working?
Oh, absolutely. Can I just give you two more quick
Yep.
things of advice?
Yeah.
One is as I said, I would ask for I would ask your vendors for concessions as part of this and explain to them as part of this what's going on. So I think that's really important, and hopefully they'll understand it. And it doesn't hurt to ask for a concession. So no different than when clients come back to us with a concession, we'll negotiate, and we won't give them necessarily the full amount of the concession that they wanted, but there is an opportunity to have those discussions with your vendors, and then just full out cash receipt collection.
Well, I thought when you said I have two more suggestions for you, you were going to say lose weight and get hair implants. So I'm glad you stuck to the economy. Scott, always great talking to you. I'm glad I can make you laugh. I'm good at that. It's probably one of my better skills. Again, we're looking forward to talking to you again, reminding all our listeners that Scott Levy from DLA, you can find him on LinkedIn and all other forms of connections with the firm. You can find him through our connections. We're going to see Scott again. Remind everybody, this is Radio Entrepreneurs.